Hello, hello. So I'm here today, to tell you or to lead you through a little neck release routine, which I'm finding is much, people are much grateful for, very, very grateful for, especially during lockdown. So similar to the lower back routine that I'm going to be providing you guys with, the underlying idea is that when we are moving less, our neck tends to get stiff because it's moving too much. Now, you might not believe me, it might sound really counterintuitive, but basically the upper trunk of your body, so kind of collarbones and down to like the lower part of your rib cage, is the bit that gets a bit stiff. Shoulders get heavy, we sit in a certain position, we maybe are a bit poked forwards with our chin, and this part of your body stops moving as much. Especially if you're isolating at home or lockdown, you're doing less breath because you're a little bit anxious maybe, and that really changes the kind of tension holding around that area. But also you're doing less movement. You may be moving from, the bedroom to the toilet to the lounge. Lucky enough if you've got a kind of a flight of stairs to go up and down, and if you have, make use of them, go up a few times. I recommended to somebody this week that, if you're carrying your ironing up the stairs, you usually do it in one big batch, so you only have to take one trip. Do it in 3 or 4 so that you're getting that movement through your body. Make the most of what you've got, which is why you're all here, I guess. But if something has gone a little bit awry and you are finding that that neck is a little bit stiff, then this little routine should really help you to ease. So again, it's working with your neuromuscular system, so the nervous system that supplies the messages to the muscles, telling them whether they need to hold tension or whether they need to let go. Okay, so I think I say this in the lower back routine, but the idea is that if your neck is sore and tight and stiff, or you get that cricked neck feeling, it's actually because a muscle has been told to tighten up by your nervous system, because it feels like your neck is moving too much. So it's braced it, it's prevented you from doing more movement through here. And I know that seems counterintuitive, because you're like, well, how can my neck be moving too much if I'm suddenly really aware of it being tight? It's a symptom of what's not moving lower down. So absolutely, we need to get onto the moving, the breath, the moving of your arms and the moving of this part of your spine, absolutely, to release those tensions. But we can always make your neck a little bit more comfortable, even though it's symptomatic, okay? Because sometimes those muscles won't stretch out just because you're like, oh, just give it a stretch, it feels like it needs to let go. They are being told to be tight to protect you, to stop you hurting yourself. So the only way to let those muscles go is to convince them that someone else is going to do the job, is to convince them that they're too tight. So I've got some tricky little things that I'm going to do. It's working kind of almost tricking your muscles into lengthening before they're ready, okay, but it doesn't hurt them at all. So we'll start with some neck mobility, because this will give you a great thing to, and we'll do it at the beginning and then bookend it at the end so that you can really see the difference, okay? So the first one we're going to come to is your chin tuck. So you're going to draw your chin into the back of the throat, like you're giving yourself a double chin, and then roll down through that neck. It's like you're nodding your head, but then you want to peel all the way back up, keeping that chin in for as long as you can, then let go, and then look up towards the ceiling. Now this way, especially if your neck is a bit sore, can be a bit more uncomfortable. So stay within a pain-free range, okay? You don't want to push this stuff. If it feels a bit tight and a bit sore, and you're aware of it, then just back off a little bit, okay? So keep going. If you see me from the side, I am drawing that chin in and rolling down. Now, I didn't say at the beginning, but I am sitting to do this. There's absolutely no reason that you can't do it sitting on a chair, kneeling on the floor, or even standing, okay? Wherever you feel like you can keep a nice, tall, lengthened spine, okay? I'm going to come back to face forwards, keep going. We'll do another couple. So just notice your range in that movement. What do you see when you look up? What does it feel like at the end ranges? And we'll finish with one chin pulling in. And then don't go up with this one, just look back forwards. And now we're going to come to your rotation. So keeping that chin back, making sure it's not poked forwards, which sometimes happens if you get a shortening to a side of the neck. So keep thinking of lifting the back of the head away from the top of your shoulders as you turn your head to look to the left, and then turn your head to look to the right. And the idea here is that you're looking at a straight line drawn on the walls, or watching a little spider walk around the walls of your room. And you're just noticing the range of that movement. What can you see at either end? What does it feel like? And then you come back to the center, and we're going to go side to side. So this side flexion, left ear towards left shoulder, come back up, right ear towards right shoulder. It's the movement that's trickiest for your neck, for your spine. So don't push it again. Notice if it's a bit restricted. How does it feel as you go one side to the other? At the moment, one of the things I can feel is as I take my right ear towards my right shoulder, my body wants to do a little bit of a rotation to make it easier. Okay, so keep saying, I'm staying with the side flexion. I'm trying to keep my body still. This is the hardest one. Those shoulders want to start getting involved. So you're just moving your neck. One more to either side. And then let's come on to those neuromuscular stretches. So this is where we're going to be a bit clever. So this is kind of coming from my techniques as a massage therapist. I know how to trick those muscles, go in the back way, make them lengthen before they think they're ready to. Because at the moment, they just need a bit of resetting. They're tighter than they actually need to be, okay? Especially because we're going to go on and move the rest of your body, okay? So first thing we're going to do is pull that chin in and come down to that head nod. In this position, take both hands back behind your head. Keep looking down. So keep the head in the same position, but now press the head back into the hands. So in that direction, back and up. And if you pick up kind of a stretch or some tension, great. If you don't worry. This is all maintenance, preventing you from getting that stiff neck as well. You're going to stay there with that pressure, pushing the head back into the hands for 3 breaths. Every in-breath you're trying to lengthen, and every out-breath you're trying to soften any work. You're keeping the pressure. It doesn't have to be a great amount of work, just something you can sustain. And at the end of the next out-breath, you release the push of your head, release the arms, and then come through 2 ranges of that movement again. So whenever we do those neurological stretches, involving your neurological system, that is in the stretch, then you want to come all the way back through at least 2 full ranges, okay? And we go again, so we do one more. As you pull the chin in, you nod down. Hands go back behind your head, and you're pushing the head back up into the hands. What you're doing here is you're activating the muscles at the back of the neck. And you're going to stay there, activating them, but in their lengthened position. And what the nerves are saying now is, hey, you might be working a bit too hard. Maybe you want to let go. At the end of the out-breath, you let go of the pressure, of the push, release the arms, and then you come all the way back up. And again, do 2 ranges of that movement. You might already be noticing clicks and cracks, that it feels a bit freer, that it feels a bit loosey-goosey even. And we're going to do the rotation now. So turning your head to the left, keeping that chin in, the back of the neck long. Now notice it. Does it feel tight on the right side or on the left side? For me, it's right side. Whichever side it is for you, you're going to take that hand towards the side of your face. So mine is right side. I'm going to take the right hand to the right side of my face, in front of my ear. And then I'm going to think about turning my head back into that hand. So it's like I'm trying to rotate my head this way. If you were tight on the left side, you would go left hand towards your left side of your head and turn your head into your hand that way, activating the muscle on the left side, whichever feels tight. You stay for your 3 breaths. Your attention might be drawn to muscles which are working hard away from the neck. And these could be the real cause of the neck tension. So draw your attention to them and try and soften them. You don't have to work so hard either. After 3, release the turn of the head, release the hand, turn all the way back to the right. Oh, nice click. All the way back to the left, and then go again. Good. And as you go to the left, you're going to stay there. Now notice where is the tension. It might have moved. Is it left side? Is it right side? Whichever side it is, that hand goes up. And you think about trying to activate the muscle by turning your head into the hand. 3 breaths. What's being drawn to your attention? Is it just that side of the neck? Sometimes you can really feel a blood flow with this one. Sometimes you can really feel your breath. Release the twist, release the hand, and then come all the way back in. Over to the right and back to the left. Notice the range of that movement. Come to the center, and then we're going to go to the right. Might feel a bit funky because you've done one side release and not the other. Where do you feel the tension, right or left? For me, it's right, so hand's going to go to the right side of my head. Yours might be left. Turning your head into your hand, Keep that pressure on for 3 breaths. Now, if you're doing this and you're thinking, well, I don't feel any tension, any stretch, any discomfort, just do 1 to either side, okay? Because what you're doing is making sure that neither of them are getting overly tight or overly worked. At the end of this out breath, release the twist, release the hand, rotate all the way to the left, and then back to the right again. 1 more all the way through. Notice the reactions to the rest of the body, trying to keep those shoulders still. Once you're back over to the right, where's the tension? Hard for me to say, so I'm going to go left side. So I'm going to turn my head into my left hand. Hand is at the left side of my face. I'm breathing in for 3. And breathing out. Every in-breath, I'm thinking of being tall at the back of my neck. Every out-breath, I'm trying to be soft. At the end of the 3 breaths, release the twist of the head into the hand, release the hand, and then rotate all the way through. So you've done 2 to both sides now. Should feel good. Okay, now I'm being guided to kind of bring you to some shoulder circles because this can really highlight where the stiffness is through here. Okay, and then we're going to come side to side with that neck. So again, this is the harder one. I'm going to go left here towards left shoulder. Where do you feel the tension? For me, it's on the right side. So my left hand comes up and over towards my right ear. And then I'm going to press that head up into my hand. I'm activating this muscle. Now you can always stretch down that right arm as well towards the floor to deepen the stretch even more. If your tension was on the left side, use the same hand, left hand to the left side of the head, and you press that head down into your hand instead. Wherever you are, you're staying for 3 breaths. So at the end of the out breath, release the reach of the arm, release the pressure of the head, release the other arm, and come into the movement. Oh, that was a nice click. Oh, go 1 more to that side again. So left ear towards left shoulder. Where's the tension? It's either up and over with the arm or it's on the underneath side. And you're pressing into the hand. So here I'm going up and over into that hand. And I'm going to reach my free arm down. And then I'm going to breathe for 3. Notice any other sensations. I tend to be drawn towards a tightness across my chest, sometimes into my shoulder blade at the back. At the end of the out breath, release the stretch of the arm, release the arm overhead, restack all the way up. Oh, beautiful. Okay, now it does feel definitely dodgy. Definitely need to do 2 to this side. So right ear towards the right shoulder. Where's the tension? Mine's on the left side. So my right arm comes up and over to the left side. Remember that you can do underneath and then you just press into that hand. Keeping the chin in, make sure you're not poking forwards. Stretch the free arm down. 3 breaths. Release the stretched arm. Release the pressure. Release over the top arm, and then you're going to come over and back. Remember, you're always doing these movements in between. Last time, right ear to right shoulder. Now the tension's moved to my underneath side, so I'm going to take my right hand to the right side of my head and press that head down into my hand. Remember that you can alternate. So if you're not feeling any kind of tension, you haven't got that awareness of something being sore or tight or stiff, then just do 1 to either side. 3 breaths. If your hand is underneath, then you can't do so much with the free hand to stretch away. Release the stretch, release the press, release the arm, and then come in to the movement. So you've done 2 to each side in both directions. Come back to the center again and go for those shoulder rolls. So I wanted to keep this pretty brief so that you just had a neck mobility one. Go back to testing that mobility. So you're going to come to your chin tucks first, just moving, tucking the chin, rolling down. How does it feel? Is there less pull? Is there more freedom of movement? Somebody said to me last week when we did this together, oh, I feel like I have to really stabilize my neck. It feels like my head's bobbing around on top of my neck. You might really feel that. Okay, next time you come to look forward, let's go side to side. So you're going to turn the head to look to the left and then turn the head to look to the right. Notice what you can see is that range improved. Mine is certainly different. And then we're going to come side to side, so ear towards shoulder. How does it feel? Is that still that stiffness? Is it easier? Are there any clicks or cracks? And after you've done 1 more to either side, let's come back to that shoulder mobility again. Now again, what I would recommend is bolt on after this one, maybe a lovely spinal movement to get things going. Certainly you can add on a core routine, so something to really fire up your center after you've done this, because if you're doing any curl ups, that neck will feel lovely and long and it won't get involved. So yeah, use this as something that you can bolt together with other bits and pieces. All right, hope it's helpful and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.